And what can you accomplish with owning just one investment property? Um, you can be mortgage free in 10 years. You can retire 5 years early. You can create a pension for retirement. We know there's not a lot of pensions left out there anymore. You can send your kids away to college with little to no student loan debt. And when we're done this, you can probably see you can send multiple kids to any college you want. What are we going to cover today? We're going to understand the basics. What's cash flow? What's leverage? What's return on investment? Net worth. The bank's telling you where to invest your money. The banks are big, big companies. Let's just follow what they're doing. Let's compare why Ontario is the best place in Canada for real estate. We're going to talk about real estate versus RSPs, mutual funds. I'm going to tell you the numbers, they don't lie. We're going to show you how you can create over $2 million for retirement. It's easier than you think. And most importantly, we're going to show you how to get started. So one question we get all the time, this is great stuff. What do we charge for our services? This is not a subscription model. It's not a coaching model. It's something that I'm very, very passionate about. I would never ask for a dollar from you. When we do these mortgages, we get paid by the lenders. We're not paid by you directly. So we're not asking you for a dollar. And if this isn't something that we can help you with, you'd rather help with renewal or refinance or any other mortgage needs, we're here to help with those as well. So what I want you to ask you is, are you doing the most with what you have? And in that, it's going to be, you need to be open-minded. This is going to be a different way of thinking. I know it's different than what my parents taught me about, investing in real estate. A lot of us have equity in our homes, and to kind of illustrate that, we'll show you just in Norfolk County. That's where I live. What has housing done in Norfolk County? So if you bought your house back in 2018, the average home price back in 2018 was $350,000. As we go forward to 2019, 2020, you can see we've definitely hit a peak in 2022 where we hit 755. 2023, the sky was falling in 2023. It was one of the worst years in real estate. Going back to when I started my career back in, back even 2008, if we look back then, that was one of the worst times. But you can see the equity that you have in your property from 2018 to 2023. It's not as bad as a lot of times what the news makes it out to be. Now, for 2024, the numbers are similar, but we don't have all those numbers in yet, so we're just going to stick with 2023. So I ask you, when's the best time to buy? And if we really look over time, probably 5 years ago. But if you don't have a time machine, the next best time is to just get started. So let's jump in and show you exactly what we're going to do. First off, we want to understand the basics. What's cash flow? So if you have $2,000 in income, $1,800 in expenses, your cash flow is positive by $200. Now, if you flip that around, your income's $1,800 and your cash flow is $2,000 in expenses, your cash flow is negative $200. All of the examples that we're going to show here today are going to be cash flow neutral. There's definitely going to be scenarios where a property can be cash flow positive, that can improve your situation. And we even have some where, a negative cash flow makes sense. But for today's exercise, we're just going to show you numbers where we're going to be cash flow neutral. What's appreciation? So if you have $100 after a year, it's worth $110. It's appreciated by 10%. What's return on investment? So in that same scenario, we're looking at a 10% return on investment. What's net worth? So if you take all your cash, your investments, your house, your cars, your jewelry, all of your assets minus your debts, so things like your mortgages, your car loans, your net, that's going to give you what is your net worth. It's what you're going to leave behind to your kids or your loved ones. What's leverage? So we've all used leverage when we, maybe we would buy a car, you using a mortgage. It's the amount that's borrowed against an asset. So what's the one property way blueprint? So what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to take $100,000 and purchase a $500,000 investment property. Don't worry, we're going to show you how to come up with that $100,000. You don't necessarily need to have that in savings. In a lot of cases, our monthly payments, we're not going to change. We're not going to increase your monthly payments to do this. The $500,000 property, it might change depending on the market you're in. But for this, we're just going to use the round numbers. $500,000 works definitely in the market that we're in Norfolk County. But regardless of where you're buying, the numbers all work out. So what does a $500,000 property look like as an investment? The strategy that we're using today, it's going to be a buy and hold. There's other strategies, like flipping or a BRRRR that you might have heard of. Those are great strategies. But today we're doing a nice, easy strategy, just a simple buy and hold that we're going to hold on to long term. The housing market, it's appreciated at an average of about 5% over the last 30 years. We've obviously seen some ups and downs through COVID. But what is this going to look like? So if we own that property for 15 years, we buy it for $500,000. The property value in 15 years is going to be just over $1 million. The remaining mortgage that you're going to have is going to be $250,000. The equity that you've gained in your property is going up, minus that initial $100,000 down payment, leaves you with $688,000. And remember, you've got a tenant that's going to be in that property making those payments for you. Now, if we take that same property, hold on to it for another 5 years, you can see here the property value is going to go up, and we have $1 million in profit. This is just with one property. And most of our clients, when they find out how easy it is, they like to buy a second one and a third one. Yes, there are capital gains taxes that need to be paid, but don't worry, we've built a team to help you with all of that and build some different strategies. So, one of the famous investor, Warren Buffett, always talked about the effect of the compound effect, especially when it comes to investments. So, one of the benefits that we have here is we're taking $100,000, and if we had a 5% growth on $100,000, that's an extra $5,000, and that continues to grow over time. The benefit that we have here is we have a $500,000 investment. So, when that compounds at 5%, you can see at the end of year one, we're going to be up over 525. As we continue to compact that over year two, year three, year four, you can see our compound effect at 5% per year gives us a new home value of $138,000 in increase, right? So $638,000. So by 5 years, that balance is going to be paid down by about $30,000. And that's going to give you, of that initial $100,000 in investment, an extra $168,000 over those 5 years. Just some absolutely fantastic numbers.